Okay, so we're going to be reboring this end cap of the tailstock to install a bronze bushing to make up for the lost diameter that we had to straighten that shaft out with, and also to provide itself a nice bearing surface. And you can see this is one of the flanged ones, so I had to mount it this way in the chuck to be able to get to this inside surface to be able to carve out a section for the flange. So now I measured this with the micrometer, and this is about consistently about maybe 3/4 of a thousandth oversized. So I'm going to come in here with a 1/2 inch reamer and just drill out, remount that hole, and then we'll cut a little recess for this lip, and then we can press it in. That way there, no Loctite required. If we ever need to replace this for any reason, we can just undo it, press it out, and pop in a new one. And this will also allow us, even if this is off a little bit, we do have to rebore this anyway, because this is 3/8 of an inch ID, and we need roughly around somewhere in the 400 thousandths or so, 406, 405, something like that. So what I did just to get this lined up is I stuck a parallel in behind here and pushed this up against the parallel to make sure to get this relatively flat on the face. And I have aluminum shims in here so that it doesn't mar the surface. So what I have is a pin gauge here that fits really, really snug in there. And we're going to indicate off that pin gauge. Alright, so we got the ready to indicate here, so you can do the half trick. So we're going to find the lowest point here. Actually, the lowest point is over here. Lowest point. I come up, and we're 54 thousandths, so half of that is 27 thousandths. We're going to zero the dial there, come over to the next closest jaw, work these in and out, and come to 0. Next set. Come to 0. You can see just by doing that, we're only about a thou off. So where is that thou? We're a thou low there. So we can just half that reading. There's a little bit of variation in this. There you go. We're well within a 1/2 thousandth there. And what we can do is see how well we are on this outside edge. And we're within about a thousandth there. So that's good enough for what we need to do. Okay, we're ready to drill this out, and this is relatively soft material. Helps if you put the bowl gear pin back in. Okay, there's that. Grab the reamer. So we're just taking a minimal amount of material off of there, about a 64th of an inch, and that's making us a nice true and round hole. Okay, we're through. And the bushing wants to start in there, and we can press it home. Okay, so now we have to make room for that lip there, and let me just measure it. And we're looking at depth of about 60 thousandths. So I'm gonna grab a tool, figure out what tool I want to use. Okay, so I just got my boring bar in here, and we're gonna touch this face. I already have my dial indicator set on my carriage. You can't see it, but it's off camera down here. And I got to go in a distance of 60 thousandths by a diameter of 625 thousandths, and that almost ends up being right where that wear mark is. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna come in. We'll take 30. Going to bring that bar out to right to that wear mark there, and then we'll go to 60. Almost wants to fit, so just gonna take a little bit more off of that. We'll try taking another try taking another 10, see what happens. And there it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this cleaned up. I'll just break this edge, break that edge, and then I'll press this in, and we'll come back once it's re-indicated. Okay, so we got the bushing in there. Let me actually get you in the frame, that would help. Actually got the bushing in there, we're re-indicated, and we only have to take about 29 thousandths, I believe. We gotta go from, this is 3/8 of an inch, so 375 thousandths, and we have to go up to the shaft is dead nuts on 403 thousandths, and I want to bore this to 404, so we have nice and a little bit of clearance. It doesn't bind. So I got my pin gauges set up in no-go configuration, and we'll just bore that out. So just come up in here. So we're just going to take 20 the first go around here. Okay, so there's 476, or 474, sorry, and here's 475, and she no go. Okay, so here's the shaft, fits in there nice. Feels good.
Okay, so we got two problems with this key in here. One, you got a crap load of slop in here, and you know that's kind of typical of an older unit. I just don't like how much of that is in there. The other problem we have is, if we can get the light in there, you can see it in there, and I'm just taking a rod and I'm not even touching it, and I can spin it around, and I can actually, you know, there's no resistance on it in the hole here. So I just used a pin gauge, and 202 thousandths ends up being a really nice fit in there, nice and snug. And also, if you notice the way the key is, you can see how small it is and how much more room I have up to the front. So I can actually go all the way up to the front here. I can make this bigger. So I might do that depending on what size stock I have. I'm going to make this out of round stock, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the outside diameter that I want, right? And that'll be the top of our key. And then I'll turn a smaller diameter, and that'll be our press fit in. And then we'll go over to the mill, and I'll just mill off both of the sides to make it flat. The other thing we need to know is the width of this keyway. And a good way to do that is to use adjustable parallels and stick them in there. Unfortunately, these are the smallest ones I have, and they're too big to get a good reading in there. So I'm just going to have to use caliper dimensions, which really isn't a huge thing because we do want a sliding fit. It doesn't need to be ridiculously tight. So this slot is actually 198 thousandths width. So if I make this actual width here 200 thousandths, that should give me enough room, enough of a sliding fit in there to get a good feel on it. So right now this is at 161 thousandths, so you can see how much smaller that is than what we need. Actually, let me just re-zero my calipers here. Yeah, 198 is the smallest width here, and this is 161 is what I'm getting there, and the actual pin is 185. So you can see how much bigger I'm going to make it. So the length of this is just shy of 3/8 of an inch. So it's just shy of 3/8 of an inch, and I actually have an extra scale. I have an extra, I have about an extra 300,000. So actually what I'll probably do is making this 1/2 inch in length, use a piece of 1/2 inch stock, and basically just turn this diameter on it, and that'll allow me to actually be able to use my collets also. So let me pick out a piece of 1/2 inch stock, and the height on this is 82 thousandths actually, and the height on the that we can go up to is 120 thousandths. I'm not really critical on the height, so I'll probably just make that 1/2 inch diameter about 100 thousandths, and that'll give me plenty in there. So that is the plan.
Okay, so I just put it in the 4-jet shop because that's why I still had it in the lathe. And we have it faced already, and I have my carriage indicator set right here. So we want to I'm going to turn it down to a 202 thousandths diameter by a length of 300 thousandths. Okay, I'm going to put in our potting blade. Perfect right there. Lock the carriage down. Slow the lathe down. Okay, so this is going to be our new key, so now we're just going to go over to the mill and we will knock off both corners and make it straight. Okay, so I got it all set up and I need to take 153 thousandths off of each side, and then I'll just do the top to get rid of that little nipple. Just want to make sure I'm not going into my vise, which I'm not. Walk down my quill. Then I'm going to turn the mill on, that would help. Just raising the chip there. Zero my DRO. The other side. Zero.
Okay, let me go grab the pot. Mo better. Alright, I'm just going to deburr these two little sides here, and then we can fit her up and see how she works. Okay, so we got the pin in there. Alright, that's the new one in there, and as you can see, doesn't spin. So now let's get this puppy together. So you can see how much better that is. So I only got maybe a 32nd of an inch of actual wiggle, and it doesn't bind. Okay. Put in our woodruff key. Flip it around so you guys can see it. Put in the woodruff key. Put in our hand wheel here. Tighten it down. I'm only going to do this hand tight because I still have to take it apart. Let me get a Morse tool. Okay, so this is a tangless center in there. We'll make sure it ejects. There you go. Again, right there it hits the stop, and there it ejects. Alright, so I'm going to put it in its bath again. We'll get rid of this little stripe of paint. And again, this is up for trade, as well as the thread dial. Anybody interested in these items? Like I said, I'm looking for milling machine equipment, especially setup stuff. So send me an email and we'll see if we can make a deal. Thanks for watching this. We'll see you on the next video.